Okay. It is Thursday, March 4th, 2021, 4:04 p.m. This is the regular board meeting of the Augsburg and Port Authority. I call the meeting to order. Mr. Lawrence?
Yes, Mr. Chairman, thank you. There are letters of communication. Does anybody have any questions on any of that?
I heard.
Okay, no questions on letters and communications to the board? No, if not, we'll move on to approval of the board minutes. Mr. King, minutes of February 4th, 2021.
Yep, I have reviewed the minutes. Can you hear me? I've reviewed the minutes and found them to be in order, so I would approve their, I would move for their approval.
I'm not hearing Dave.
You can't hear me? Can
Dave?
you hear me
I
now?
think it's on our end.
Yes, we have a little issue here. Hold on.
There we go.
Okay, Dave.
Okay, I found the minutes all to be in order. And I would
Okay,
move.
thank you. Is there a motion? Okay, the motion's been made to approve the board minutes of February 4th, 2021. Is there a second? Seconded by Chris. Okay. There are no changes. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Raise your hand, whoever's easier. Okay. No one opposed, meetings are accepted. Nicole, you're on?
I'm here, sir. I'm on my phone because I came home to uncharged technology.
Okay, move on to reports. Committee reports, Finance Committee, please, Chris?
The January financial statements are in good order, as expected. Patty has changed the way that accounts receivable are being presented to make that number more meaningful, and I think you'll see that she'll explain what the new presentation is. But if we compare totals from prior statements with the January one, make sure that we're comparing apples and apples and taking into account the different presentation. Other than that, I think they're all set, and I would appreciate having Patty touch on the highlights in the financial statement.
All right, thank you, Chris. On the statement of financial position, you'll notice everything on the top is very normal. Our accounts receivable of 164,000, 98% of it is in current or 1 to 31 days. So we are collecting all of our receivables, all our lease payments, et cetera, are coming in a very timely fashion. If we go down to construction in progress, you'll see a huge increase in that construction in progress line because we have added the Tiger Bridge grant and the Harbor Deepening grant. Now that those projects are underway and we're being billed for them, much more is going into construction in progress. Between those two projects, they account for $14.5 million of the 15.9. So there's very little outside of those to concern ourselves. As Chris stated, accounts payable has been broken out into 3 categories. accounts payable regular, which is our regular day-to-day operating expenses, our utility bills, and the like. Then I've labeled New York State retirement so that we don't get confused when we start to see the accounts payable going up, assuming that it's all day-to-day operations. The New York State retirement bill is an annual invoice that we receive in January that we tend to pay down over time. Now that we have the Tiger Bridge repair, I've added a line, accounts payable, New York State Tiger and Bridge repair. That is $3.2 million right now. Since this was published as, for January 31st, we have completely paid off the open balance to Piasecki Steel. This is the revolving line of credit that we have with Thompson Bank, and they pay Piasecki Steel, and as soon as they receive, then when the state gets our bill, they pay Thompson back directly. So it's a good working relationship we have, and that is now completely paid off. Any questions on the financial statement? Okay, the budget to actual on the bridge fund, the only thing of note is that the new PPP was received February 4th, so it does not show up here. We did receive the 2021 PPP for $365,000, and that will show up in February's statement. Other than that, everything is as we would expect it. However, I did find when I was doing the port fund budget to actual, and I was concerned that the employee salaries and wages were so over budget. I did some more digging, and it appears that when the former CFO did the budget last year, he moved the director of operations salary into the executive director's spot, which was the correct thing to do. But he never told the payroll clerk to move the actual salary that Steve was receiving into the right line. So a good deal of that overage of $116,000 belongs on the bridge side, which is under by $65,000. So it's just a matter of getting those two, the budget and the actual of those two to line up. Other than that, everything on these is falling into place as we would think they would. I entertain any questions.
Anything else? Anyone have any questions for Patty? If not, we'll move on to, I'm sorry, Chris, anything else?
No, I appreciate the report, Patty. Thank you very much.
You're welcome.
Let's move on to a bridge traffic report. Mark?
Yeah, February's numbers, really, kind of mirrored what's been happening in the last 4 months. We run anywhere between 87 and 90% down with auto crossings, but truck traffic has been just up a little bit over last year. It's been running anywhere from 2 to 4%, but that's kind of been over the past 4 months. So that part of it is good news. We don't expect the auto crossings to change anytime soon until there's a significant change to the border staff. And you can see that revenue is down $122,239 over last year. What will happen in next month? I want to put I'll put the 2021 number. Then keep the next. There'll be 3 things we'll be looking at. So if you look at a normal year, then we'll be comparing it to COVID. you know, as we go through March and so forth, so that, we can just kind of see, how we're doing versus actually last year. And I don't know, I think I did summarize some of that, I believe some of that added truck traffic to us as this is a result of, some of the construction going on at CI Bridge. It's just incidental, stories that I'm hearing from the trucking companies. And then we're seeing a lot of more interest in getting, we're just having truck permits, more truck permits for us. And they kind of, we ask why, and some of that is related to what's going on down in Thousand Island. And that's been a little bit of good news for us. You know, does anybody have any questions on any of the bridge traffic?
Okay, if not, we'll move on to the airport activity and occupancy report. Stephanie?
Yes, sir. There's been no change in the occupancy reports of the airport from last month. Everything remains status quo there. I have not yet received SkyWest's numbers. They usually come in sometime on the 4th of the month. I think there has been a bit of an uptick, not great, but a bit of an uptick. I have had a lot of interest now in a lot of general aviation. We have a flight coming in tonight late. We have a flight coming in tomorrow, GA. So I think as these vaccines are coming, people are starting to fly again. We've had a lot of interest in the last couple of weeks of general aviation aircraft and making inquiries. So I think that's positive, and I hope as these vaccines come through, people will start flying again.
Good. Anyone have any questions on Stephanie's report? Anyone? Stephanie, I do have one thing.
Yes.
In your report, you have a bullet in there that says continue to work with United on advertising. If you would, please, by this time next week, put together a report from working with United on just what we're looking at for advertising. And please send that information on to Mr. King, because he chairs the facilities committee.
Certainly will.
Good. Now that we know who we have for EAS, let's put that together and get moving on that.
Okay.
Good. Thank you.
Could I mention something also, please?
Absolutely.
Thank you. So with the announcement yesterday that there's no quarantine requirements on domestic travel for people in New York State that are fully vaccinated, so 2 weeks past their second dose, and knowing that many essential workers in that 1B, especially teachers, there is a vacation, the April break coming up very soon, and I know many people had held off on vacation plans. So I'm just wondering, first of all, if we have some marketing in place to go along with the announcement yesterday, but also if you could update us in the next couple of weeks if we see an increase in reservations due to that announcement.
Okay, I can do that. I do have some things ready to go as far as students for travel. Hope to get those out very, very soon. I'd like to talk to Steve and Patty about that to see what type of funding that they are going to, that we can work out to do that.
Great, thank you.
Good. Thank you, Nicole. Good point. Again, that's why, now's the time to start on that. Well, we know for sure, where our EAS is going, and let's make best use of it. So let's hit the ground running and get ahead of this. Okay, so we have the port activity report, please.
Yes, thank you. We're fairly active with the road salt, and that's all weather driven. We've we've mixed the third blending of the sour rock. That's the specialty salt that we use, or not we use, so we send out, that goes up into the Adirondack, a little more environmentally friendly. So that is our third batch. We have enough to make, I believe, 2 more. At this point right now, we may not make another one, but they'll still be storing some of the comfort salt here, either to use in next season or to mix up another batch. But currently, they're leasing our port building too for the storage of the thaw rock. So there'll be some income there until they leave that building. Shipment of grain has been kind of slow in February, but we are, for capacity wise, we're pretty well full for, we have received over 2,500 tons of canola pellets, and that's starting to move out. And then the same company has inquired about storage of this dry distillers grain, which is goes by the acronym DDG. So they're inquiring about storing that, and we have building 5. We think we can accommodate that, but they've made no commitment on that. Other than that, we've offloaded all of our near-field rock salt. I believe we've got I think close to 20,000 still on the dock, and I don't see that leaving by the end of the winter season. So that may be covered and stored through the summer, and there is they do pay for storage monthly, so there'll be some income with that. But we'd rather we make more when we send it out. So that's all I've got for port activity. Does anybody have any questions on that?
No? Okay. Well, ordinarily,
Yeah.
we would move on to building occupancy report and industrial commercial prospect report. Steve, I don't know if you have anything or not.
No, I can just tell you, Patty's had a few inquiries. She's been handling any communications from future tenants. She's had a couple. I've been working on a couple of renewals that I'm just waiting to get the information released back this time from but for now we've got just the easy into that just to see how we can organize and take care of all of that.
Okay.
We do have one jet industry who is working the sewage treatment plant behind the port, is looking for a short-term place to store pieces that have to be installed into the water treatment plant, and they are looking at possibly building one for some short-term storage. So we're going back and forth with that right now.
Okay. I think we all understand that we're in another transition period. Things will be done a little bit different with the retirement of the past member. So I think Steve and Patty will be on top of things. Then we have Leanne with the strategic market, isn't it? Strategic development. As you know, we're working with her. She's doing additional work from the past. I just want to go over a few things that Mr. Reach had put in his last report. As you know, and maybe you don't know, the foreign trade zone is pretty important to me. And, John has submitted the report. He's keeping us, where we need to be on that, so we can use the FTZ, anywhere in the county or the administrator of it, so, that's a good thing. And the, PFRAP funding, have we applied for that yet, or is that something coming up?
We're in the preliminary stages. We are putting together, some of our wish lists. I'm going to talk to you a little bit about some of the projects there. I think we'll have two. One will be for equipment and the other one will be for, some capital improvements of some buildings and maybe a dock inspection. That, and I'll have to get with the on that. And it's due, the last part of, April.
Okay, and, John was a participant in the Regional Economic Development Council, and we need to review what their requirements are for attending, and either we send somebody from staff, probably remote now, but we need to remain in contact with that group, and we'll work that out as we go forward. And I think that's important that we do know what's going on at that level. Anything else regarding commercial and industrial development? If not, we'll move on to unfinished business. I believe there's an item that was tabled last month. Is that correct?
Yeah.
Everyone has that in front of them, I hope? Is there a motion to take that off the table? Moved by Chris. Is there a second? By Dave? Okay, to bring that off the table. All those in favor to bring that off the table, just raise your hand. Okay. Okay, Nicole, you're on now. All right, so that was everyone. There's a resolution. It was appointment of OBPA Executive Director. Is there anyone, Chris, you made the motion. Would you read the report, please?
I'm sorry, Sam, I don't have an item to read, but I would be,
Put it up on.
I think Anne Marie's putting it up right now.
okay.
I think Yep.
There you go. You see it now, Chris?
I see it.
Okay, if you would read that, please.
Whereas the position of OBPA Executive Director has been vacant for over a year, and whereas Steve Lawrence has filled in as interim Executive Director, and whereas the past year has been the most difficult for this authority with the international border closed, the departure of our low-cost carrier, the cutback in all travel due to COVID-19, and the loss of operating funds due to the closure. Whereas Steve Lawrence has shown the ability to manage the day-to-day operations of the OBPA, and with his many years of experience at the authority, he understands the culture and the mission of this authority. And whereas Steve Lawrence has proven to the board of directors that he is the most qualified to fill this important position, I need to move the resolution up so that I can see it.
I'm trying.
Well, I do completely support the sense of this resolution.
Okay, there, now can you see the button?
Yes, I do. Now, therefore, be it resolved that the Board of Directors of the Ogdensburg Bridge and Port Authority hereby appoints Steve Lawrence as Executive Director of the Ogdensburg Bridge and Port Authority, and be it further resolved that Steve Lawrence will receive the salary already approved by the Board of Directors. So moved.
Okay, motion's been made. Is there a second? Hey, a second. I call. Is there any discussion?
I think it was seconded by Ned.
Unmute yourself.
I think we're
Megan?
all in favor
Seconded
here.
by Megan.
I just wanted to say that this is really very long overdue, and we're very grateful and lucky to have Steve to get us through the last year and moving forward. We're excited to see what else he can do.
Anyone else? Jen, you good? Okay, Nicole?
I'm thrilled that we have the opportunity to bring this resolution back before the board. We had a bit of a wait, but we've got it here now. And my time on the board has been rather short in comparison to many of you. But the diligence and the perseverance that Steve has, the onboarding, I mean, as board members, the way that he brought me on and we toured the facilities, and anything that I've ever needed or had questions about, anytime I reach out to him, he gets back with an answer.
I'm gonna close.
Can everybody hear? Hand up, yep, you can hear me, okay. All right, motion's been made. Second is, there's been discussion. There's no further discussion. Anne Marie, call the roll, please.
Mr. King,
Yes, with enthusiasm.
Mr. Coffin,
Yes.
Mr. Burns,
Absolutely, yes.
Ms. Witten,
Yes.
Mr. Manelli,
Yes.
Ms. Quirk Pickman,
Yes, absolutely.
motion carried.
All right, congratulations.
Thank you, everybody. I appreciate your faith in me, and I will endeavor to persevere in the next, the coming months. But I appreciate your support and the kind words. Thank you.
And for the next 20 years, right, Megan? Yep,
Yeah, I think at least, right? Yeah, at least
at
20.
least 20 years,
Okay.
yeah. Okay, all right, let's go on to, general administration. Agenda item A1. This one? Approval of independent auditor's agreement. Okay, Steve, someone inside.
Walk you through it.
ESPR Group, CPA, proposes to provide financial statements, audit, and related services to the Ogdensburg Bridge and Port Authority as well as services associated with the audit of the passenger facility charge program associated with the Ogdensburg International Airport. EFTR Group has submitted proposals to continue providing these services for each entity for the year ending March 31st, 2021. The annual proposed cost for the year ending March 31st, 2021 is $20,100 for the OBPA and $1,350 for the PSC program audit. Resolved that the executive director is hereby authorized and directed to execute contracts with EFTR Group to provide audit and related services to the Ogdensburg Bridge and Port Authority, as well as services associated with the audit of the passenger facilities charges associated with the Ogdensburg International Airport. EFTR Group has submitted proposals to continue providing these services for each entity for the year ending March 31st, 2021. The annual proposed cost for the year ending March 31st, 2021, $20,100 for the Ogdensburg Bridge and Port Authority and $1,350 for the PFC program audit. The result is that approval without opposition is in the best interest of the authority.
Okay, is there a motion to approve? Motion?
I'll move it.
This is Chris. I'll second.
Megan did.
Megan. Okay, motion's been made and seconded. Is there any further discussion? Now, this firm has been our auditors for the past 2 years? No. 4. It's been 4 years?
4 years.
No.
I would like to put it out for an RFP after the audit. I sometimes think it's good even to have new blood looking at your financial statement.
I agree. Okay, no further discussion. Anne Marie, call the roll, please.
Mr. Coffin,
Yes.
Mr. Byrne,
Yes.
Ms. Witten,
Yes.
Ms. Terminelli,
Yes.
Ms. Quirk Pickman,
Yes.
Mr. King.
Yes.
Motion carried.
Thank you. Move on to agenda item A2. Approval of vacation buyout of former executive director. Going into this.
Very well.
Former Executive Director Wade Davis's anniversary date of hire was January 16th, 2020. He was hired on January 16th, 2006. The vacation policy for management and confidential employees hired prior to December 31st, 2006 provides that the employee's entire vacation time for the year can be added on the employee's anniversary date. It doesn't state that it can't be, so the assumption is that it can be. Wade Davis had contracted for 7 weeks of vacation. Therefore, when he left the authority on January 17th, 280 hours of vacation time had accrued from the day before. The vacation policy also states that accrued vacation earnings will be provided regardless of the employee giving proper notice, terminations for rule infractions, or resignations in lieu of terminations for rule infractions. Council was consulted and concurred with staff's assessment that the authority must pay Mr. Davis for his accrued vacation time. Mr. Davis used 4.5 hours of vacation time on January 17th. As a result, he owed $63.08 per hour for the remaining 275 hours for $17,378.54.
Okay, thank you. Jennifer, I assume you reviewed this?
Sam, I did, and I agree with Patty's analysis, unfortunately.
Okay, the report is before you, the resolution, again, based on, and only based on legal counsel. I think we should move this forward. We have a new executive director, and let's move on with that, please. Is there a motion?
I have a question. Do I need to wait for the motion?
Yeah,
Okay.
I'll make the motion. This is Chris.
I'll second.
okay, motion is on the floor. Dave, you have a question?
I do, and I apologize for not bringing this forward before, and I don't know if we should be discussing this in this or under personnel.
Jennifer, if you don't believe it should be discussed in open session, please let us know.
Will do, thank you.
I just have a question about, I read that, and I know there was some things that were done, and I just had some questions about that in regards to that. And I feel like maybe I should ask that in executive session.
Okay?
I have a comment I'd like to bring up in open meeting, which would just be to make sure that our current policy addresses this sort of an issue so that earned time and payable time is based on the period served rather than having it all become due on the anniversary date.
It actually does, Chris. Right after this, the next board-approved vacation policy indicated that it is accrued every pay period.
Thank you.
Are you looking for a motion from me, Sam?
Well, there's a motion on the table regarding the agenda item. I think a proper procedure, we could go into executive session to discuss this particular motion because it deals with an individual. Correct, Jennifer?
That's correct, Sam.
Okay, Dave, you would like to make a motion to go into executive session?
I would move that we go into executive session for discussion of personnel.
Is there a second?
This is
Seconded
Nicole.
by Jennifer. Nicole? Okay, all those in favor of going to executive session for personnel discussion, raise your hand. Okay, we got everybody. Okay, Anne Marie,
Okay, just a second. Stop recording. We're back on.
is there any way of getting Diane back?
No, they would have to log back in themselves.
Is there, do you have a,
Oh, they are back.
oh, she's back.
Yep.
All right, okay.
So we can definitely yeah. Back into the room.
Yeah. Do that. Okay. We're out of executive session. There is a motion on the table. Approval vacation buyout for former executive director. Motion's been made and seconded. Is there any further discussion? Not Anne Marie, call the roll, please.
Mr. Byrne?
Yes.
Ms. Witten?
Yes.
Ms. Terminelli?
Yes.
Ms. Quirk-Pickman?
Yes.
Mr. King?
No.
Mr. Coffin?
Yes.
Motion carried.
Thank you. Move on to agenda item A3, renewal of existing line of credit with Tompkins Trust Company.
The Board of Directors of the Ogdensburg Bridge and Port Authority approved a line of credit with Thompson Trust on November 15th, 2017. The line was again renewed on February 11th, 2019 by board approval. Thompson Trust has agreed to renew the term of the line of credit again with a revised expiration date of June 28, 2021. The resolution of February 11th remains in full force and effect. The reason we are only getting 6 months on this extension is Tompkins Trust would like to see our audit before they do a final extension on the line of credit. Be it resolved that the executive director and/or chief financial officer is hereby authorized and directed to execute the renewal of the existing line of credit for Tompkins Trust Company in the amount not to exceed $500,000 with a term ending on June 28, 2021. And be it further resolved that the board resolution of February 11th, 2019 remains in full force and effect.
Okay, the motion is before you. No one moving?
This is Nicole. I'll move it.
I'll second.
Is there a second? Okay, Dave seconded. Is there any discussion?
Mr. Chairman, I'd like to recognize the applicant for all of our help with it. It was a much simpler process for us, and to have her help was really crucial in obtaining all that. So thank you, Jennifer, very much for your help.
Okay, you're entirely welcome. And I think when you get it extended again, it's going to be worlds easier this time because we've just done it.
Very good.
You and Patty have been tremendous. Thank you.
No, thank you. Motion's been made and seconded. Any further discussion? Not Anne Marie, call the roll, please.
Ms. Whitten,
Yes.
Ms. Terminelli,
Yes.
Ms. Quirk Pickman,
Yes.
Mr. King,
Yes.
Mr. Coffin,
Yes.
Mr. Burns.
Yes.
Motion carried.
Okay, agenda item A4, approval of a youth permit with Carp Tournament Series LLC for the month of May.
I'll handle that. The Park Tournament Series LLC has requested use of the court property at the outstation for their park tournament scheduled for May 27th through the 30th of 2021. Staff has prepared a use permit for the Park Tournament Series LLC, which includes the hold harmless clause and required proof of insurance coverage to be provided to the authority, namely the Orangeburg Bridge and Port Authority, as additional insured, as well as a security deposit of $150. We recommend the approval of the use permit for the Park Tournament.
Everyone has that resolution before. Is there a motion to approve? Made by Dave, is there a second? By Nicole? Any further discussion? Not Anne Marie, call the roll, please.
Ms. Terminelli,
Yes.
Ms. Quirk Pickman,
Yes.
Mr. King,
Yes.
Mr. Coffin, Mr. Burns,
Yes.
Ms. Whitten.
Yes.
Motion carried.
Okay, agenda item A5.
This is basically the same as the previous resolution. We schedule another park tournament for July 19th to 24th, 2021. And everything is in place as the last resolution. They did run a couple park tournaments last year, and that was during COVID, but they did a very good job with that, and we never had any issues there. So seeing how things are improving, monthly, we assume that they'll do the same this year. So just wanted to reassure you on that note.
Good. Motion before you. Someone moving? Moved by Dave, seconded by Nicole. Is there any discussion? Now, Anne Marie, call the roll, please.
Ms. Quirk Pickman,
Yes.
Mr. King,
Yes.
Mr. Coffin,
Yes.
Mr. Burns,
Yes.
Ms. Witten,
Yes.
Ms. Terminelli.
Yes.
Motion carried.
Thank you. In your agenda packet, there is a agenda item D1 that has been pulled. Additional work needs to be done on that. Mr. Lawrence will do that in conjunction with, I'm assuming Albany?
Yes.
Okay. So we'll see that again probably next month. There is another resolution, agenda item B1 under others that matter. Recognition of John Reach, Director of Commercial and Industrial Development. Does everyone have that? Okay, is there anyone who would like to read and move that resolution? Nicole?
Sure. So this is a resolution in recognition of John Reich as Director of Commercial and Industrial Development. Whereas the Board of Directors have been given notice by Mr. Reich that after 15 years of service to the Ogdensburg Bridge and Port Authority, he has decided to retire. And whereas John Reich has been instrumental in developing Commerce Park as a viable industrial campus for numerous light manufacturing companies, employing hundreds of local workers. And whereas John has written numerous grant proposals that were accepted and the authority has been able to expand because of his expertise in this area. And whereas John developed long-term contracts for several firms at the Port of Ogdensburg, helping to bring additional business to the Ogdensburg area. Be it further resolved that the Board of Directors of the Bridge and Port Authority offer our sincere thanks to John Reich for the number of years and dedication he has given to this authority, and wish him the best in any future endeavors that he might pursue, and hope he enjoys a well-deserved retirement.
Thank you. Motion was made, is there a second?
I'll second that.
Okay, seconded by Chris. Any discussion? If not? Okay. Anne Marie, call the roll.
Mr. King,
Yes.
Mr. Coffin,
Yes.
Mr. Burns,
Yes.
Ms. Witten,
Yes.
Ms. Terminelli, Ms. Quirk Pickman.
Yes.
Motion carried.
Okay, thank you. Others that matter. Unfortunately, Tony is not online with us today. I think everyone is aware of the initiative, I guess, on we're looking at the possibility of developing a daycare facility within our industrial park. I would like to appoint a committee to look into that, work along with Senator Gillibrand, who actually has started this initiative across New York State. I'm asking Nicole and Tony to serve on that committee, if you would, please. You can decide between the two of you who would like to chair it, but it's my belief that you two have younger ones, and it's an issue that you have to deal with every day. Not that Ms. Witten doesn't, but we have other things for her to do. So if you wouldn't mind, Nicole, And we'll send word to Tony, and we'll also send additional information on to you and her regarding contacts and send them to Jill Brand's office. And we'd like to get this moving. It's my belief that this is an important project. I think we've all now realized that because of the pandemic, that childcare is more important now than ever before. And I think it's only right that the authority tries to deal with this issue. My opinion, of course. So Nicole, thank you for being willing to serve on that.
Thank you for the
Any
consideration.
Thank you. Other than that, Mr. King, I would like to ask you to think about a time to put the facilities committee meeting together. I think it's time to move forward on working on low-cost carrier for the airport and other matters related to work being done at the bridge and at the port. Whatever is your pleasure, Mr. King, when you would like to set that up. But I think, you know, it's important that we discuss that in detail. Okay? All right, one more thing. Okay, Dave? All right, thank you. One more thing. And I understand, press storm.
Yes, we have Brendan Straub.
Okay. That the press is still on. So, I know other members of the board don't have this in front of them. I've already released this to some members of the press regarding the announcement of essential air service at Augsburg International Airport. I'll read it, and maybe if the press has a question, I could reply to that. Okay, this is a statement from me, dated today. It reads as such. On Tuesday, March 2nd, 2021, an announcement was made by the U.S. Department of Transportation that SkyWest Airlines had received a contract to provide essential air service at Augsburg International Airport for a term of 3 years, starting April 1, 2021. For the past 2 years, SkyWest Airlines, DBA United Airlines carrier, has provided EAS service at our airport with direct flights to Washington, D.C. and Chicago O'Hare Airport. During this time period, SkyWest provided a 50-passenger jet service with 12 flights weekly. Before the pandemic, the passenger count more than acceptable to SkyWest and OBPA. Because of the excellent service and support the OBPA received from SkyWest Airlines in their recent proposal to continue the same service to the same hub for a 3-year term, the board of directors unanimously agreed to recommend a continued EAS support for that airline. I find the decision by the U.S. Department of Transportation to award EAS to SkyWest Airlines flying only to Washington, D.C. to be very disappointing. While I understand it may have been a financial decision by DOT, I feel that the department failed to understand the long-term benefits to the North Country flying public in the OBPA of continuing the service to Chicago and Washington. I completely understand the process that US DOT follows, but after the department receives proposals, the department formally solicits the views of the community as to which carrier and option they prefer. After receiving the community's views, the department is directed to consider 5 factors in making a carrier selection. 1, to demonstrate a reliability of the applicant in providing scheduled air service. 2, the contractual and marketing arrangement the applicant has made with a large carrier to ensure service beyond the hub airport. 3, the interline agreements that the applicant has made with larger carriers to allow passengers and cargo of the applicant at the hub airport to be transported by the larger carriers through one reservation, ticket, and baggage check. And 4, the preferences of the actual and potential users of air transportation at the eligible place, giving substantial weight to the views of the elected officials representing the users of the service. And 5, whether the air carrier has included a plan in its proposal to market its service to the community. I believe the OBPA and SkyWest Airlines adequately satisfied those 5 factors. I would like to thank our elected officials at all levels, from the city of Augsburg to our Congresswoman and U.S. Senators Schumer and Gillibrand for their support. While I express my displeasure with the Department of Transportation's decision, I look forward to the OBPA working with SkyWest Airlines to market the excellent direct service we will have to Washington, D.C., and the ability to fly from our airport to that major hub and connect to any flight going to Florida or out to the western United States. The OBPA Board of Directors believes that as we move away from the pandemic and air travel returns to more normal rates, there are additional opportunities available for air service out of Augsburg International Airport. And authority staff will continue to explore those options. Prior boards believed in the potential of our expanded airport and runways, and only an increase in air service to North Country travelers will make that dream a reality. Again, I'm disappointed in the fact that USDOT did not give us the 2 hubs, Washington and Chicago. That being said, we will make the best of it. We will work with SkyWest Airlines, but the public understands that it's an excellent service they are providing to our airport. And you can fly anywhere from Washington, D.C. to anywhere south or anywhere west. I know personally, because I have a sister who lives in Colorado, who several times has flown here in the Augsburg Airport, and she has not only come through Chicago, sometimes she comes through Washington. So all that is available, and we look forward to continuing that. Just understand, all 5 steps we went through, we did everything right. There's nothing we didn't do right over the past 2 years. There's nothing SkyWest Airlines didn't do right. It is my belief that this is a financial decision from the U.S. Department of Transportation. Period. Anyone else have any comments? No? Okay. Is there any other, including comments from any board member or staff regarding any issue?
I would just say, Sam, thank you for eloquently describing the feelings of the board, and I believe the community, because I've shared with you some of my thoughts as well, and I believe you're spot on with your comments. Thank you very much.
Thank you. I believe someone else, no board member, has any additional comments. A member of the press is online. Do you have a question at this time? Chris?
Sam, this is Chris. I'd like to very briefly make a comment on daycare. I think it's a very appropriate project to undertake and a cause to pursue in terms of service to the community. I have had some experience with several different daycare projects, and in the past, we've always been guilty of letting our hopes and our desires produce unrealistic financial assessments. So I'm asking the committee members to be really hard-nosed when you project revenue and costs.
I have complete faith in Nicole doing that, Chris.
Yep.
There's a question from the press.
Okay, there's a question from the press.
Hi, can you hear me?
Go ahead, please.
Hi, this is, my mic's a little hard to hear. My name's Brendan Straub. I work for Channel 7 in Watertown. I had a question regarding the Wade Davis situation. The question I had, just I know you guys went to an executive session, and I know at liberty with personnel issues, there's at liberty as to what can and can't be said. Is there a reason why it took over a year for this buyout to happen? Is there like a certain kind of circumstance, the reason why it took over a year for this vacation kind of time to finally be approved? Is there a reason for that?
Brendan, Sam Burns, it's my understanding we just received this request within the past month. Is that correct? Yeah, so it originated from Mr. Davis in just the past month. I believe that this is the first board meeting we've had since that request has come in. So it's not as if it's something we haven't dealt with before. It's something new to us.
And then the minutes for tonight's meeting, will they be posted at some point? Because I just want to, I was trying to take a look at the numbers as she was talking, but the voice with the, I don't know if it's a phone, just like the voice was going in and out, and I was trying to keep track of, you know, how much money it was, things of that nature. I just don't want to get any numbers wrong in case the station wants to run something with this. So I just want to make sure that I have the correct numbers and the situation that was. I know you guys do have a resolution for this.
The video will be out by Monday, but the dollar amount is in the resolution. Do you have a copy of the resolution, Brandon?
I do not.
We send that to him?
Yeah.
We could send that to you. Would that help?
Yeah, I already I sent an email through during the meeting to somebody from the board. I believe to
Anne Marie?
Yeah, to Anne Marie, correct. So she has my email. So if you could send over the resolution, that would be greatly appreciated.
Okay, Anne Marie's the best. She'll get it. Anything else, Brandon?
Nope, that's it. Thank you so much.
Okay, thank you for being there. Okay, our next meeting is scheduled for April 8th. Well, that's a Thursday. My understanding that Ms. Terminelli might be in Florida.
Yeah, maybe if I go to Florida, I'm definitely flying out of Ogden.
I will be in Florida, Sam.
You know, Dave, I tried to hide it. Dave, are you a place where you could sign on, or you been conducting business at that time? Or? Just in case
talking to me?
Worry about a
I'm flying out of Ogdensburg, I think at 3, I don't know what time it is, 3 o'clock or something crazy like that. I don't know. So it'll be hard.
Okay, on the 8th? Okay. Just so we know, you know, who could be available. All right, anyone else who cannot make the 8th? No? All right, let's tentatively.
Sorry, I just checked my schedule.
schedule.
I don't go till the 9th. I was excited. Sorry.
Let's pencil in the 8th at 4 p.m. Anything else? We good? Is there a motion to adjourn? Made by Megan, seconded by Chris. All those in favor, just raise your hand. Okay, we stand adjourned. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Good night, everybody.